In this video, we're going to be talking about the FARA 83 and why it's going to be one of the best long-range assault rifles inside Warzone after its most recent buff, which happened today. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and also click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel as well. We do post extra content over there. We did just release a patch notes video going over the changes made to the FARA 83 as well as the AMAX, so a link to that will be left at the end of this video if you want to check it out. But this is the build that we tested for the FARA 83, and what it stated in the patch notes is that I gave this gun a recoil reduction, so we wanted to see how that actually affected this gun in game. And then what we wanted to do as well is compare it to some of the more popular long-range rifles in Warzone. So that includes the KRIG 6 with this build here, which gives you the best bullet velocity with that barrel, and the Axial 3x optic, which just got a rework with this update as well. And these new optic changes are huge. I've just played a couple of games with these new optics, and it definitely helps your long-range engagement significantly, and it makes it very similar to a VLK optic. So make sure you try these optics out. They do help out for the Cold War weapons. But then we also wanted to compare it to some of the modern warfare guns that are very popular at the moment. So the first would be the AMAX, of course. This is probably the most popular gun. Then we also wanted to compare it to the Ram 7, because I know a lot of people are going to say, what about the Ram 7? So we also compared it to this as well. So all those builds I've just shown you are the meta builds for each one of these guns, but I wanted to test out the recoil now and see what changes were made to the FARA 83. On screen just now, you will see a recoil chart taken at a 30-meter distance, because this is the distance that you'll have most of your assault rifle engagements at. So as you can see, we've got the FARA, then the KRIG, then the AMAX, and then the Ram 7 as well. And as you can see, the FARA doesn't have as much recoil as it did before. We don't really have much of a before and after, but we can compare it to these other weapons, as you can see on screen at the moment. And it still goes upwards and to the left, but nowhere near as much as it used to before, and it's way more easier to manage. Take it from me, I'm not the best at controlling recoil, but this gun is definitely easier to manage at long range, especially with that new optic now. The KRIG is a very easy to control gun from Cold War, and that is a very low recoil gun. So as you can see, the FARA is not far off at all in terms of recoil. Then you can see the AMAX, and we all know the AMAX goes vertically upwards. It's pretty easy to control. It just kicks a little bit harder than the other weapons, and the FARA doesn't kick nowhere near as much as the AMAX. Then the Ram 7 is just a really weird gun. Now, a lot of people do try and use this gun at longer distances, but as you can see, this cut into my AMAX chart, so it's not the best gun to be using at long range unless you're really skilled at controlling recoil or you're playing on keyboard and mouse. The Ram 7 is not really the best option. Now, of course, the main thing that people like to use the Ram 7 for is its TTK potential, and also it has faster bullet velocity than the AMAX. But the FARA, if you kit it out with the class setup I've shown you, has very similar bullet velocity to the Ram 7, and it's actually easier to control, and also I think it kills quicker than the Ram 7 as well. So of course I'm going to show you the TTK charts for the FARA, comparing it to those weapons I've shown you earlier on as well, so the Ram 7 and the KRIG as well as the AMAX. But I want to quickly mention that this is chest shots only we're taking a look at here, because the AMAX did get a nerf to its headshot multiplier, so don't really want to talk about headshots too much, because on the True Game Data website they probably haven't updated this just yet. So we're only talking about chest shot damage, and the FARA does have a good headshot multiplier as well, by the way. A link to all the True Game Data stuff will be linked in the description down below if you want to check out their stuff. This magenta line, which is the AMAX, as you can see, the AMAX still kills the quickest, even at chest shots. Then it's the Ram 7 with this kind of cyan line here, which then goes up and past some of these other weapons. The orange line is the FARA, the green line is the KRIG, and then this dark blue line here is the Grau. So I'm going to remove the Grau because, as you can see, it doesn't kill nearly as quick as some of these other weapons here. So we'll remove the Grau. Then we're left with the 4 weapons I've shown you a recoil chart for. So the AMAX, as we all know, is the quickest killing weapon inside Warzone, especially at those longer distances past 30 meters. So it's still a very viable gun, even though it's had nerfs. If you land a lot of chest shots, the AMAX is a great option, and we'll remove that and then take a look at the last 3 weapons here. So if we're looking at a close range assault rifle, the Ram 7 is going to be the best option. But now, to be completely honest, the SMGs have taken back their spot, so you'd rather use an SMG at close range than an assault rifle. You're not really going to get that movement and mobility anymore. Then the second best is the FARA. But then once you get past that 30-meter distance, as you can see here, the FARA actually kills quicker by, what, about 20 milliseconds roughly. But what the most important thing is here, if you combine this TTK with that recoil pattern, you're actually going to get a better practical in-game TTK than the Ram 7. As I've just shown you, the Ram 7 recoil is too hard to manage compared to the FARA. So you'd rather use the FARA 83. It's going to be a way easier gun to control, and it kills faster past 30 meters than the Ram 7. So what we have here is a very low recoil gun that kills quicker than the M4, it kills quicker than the Grau, it kills quicker than the Kilo, the Ram 7 and the KRIG. So now with this recent buff, and especially with that attachment change as well, they did fix a lot of the optics with the Cold War guns, and I think we're looking at probably the meta weapon for long range in Warzone right now, because the AMAX did get a slight nerf to headshots, whereas the KRIG has a really good headshot multiplier, has low recoil, and has a fast TTK at long range. This is basically the same kind of idea as the Grau when that was meta, and the Kilo when that was meta. So like I said, this is a great weapon, and on top of that, it has really good bullet velocity as well. So you're going to be connecting your shots at those longer distances super easy. And like I said, I didn't think they were supposed to make this gun this good. I think they will end up nerfing it again, so we'll just need to wait and see. But this is definitely one of the best long-range rifles in Warzone right now, and if you're not using it, you're definitely missing out. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and we like to keep you up to date with every single change that happens inside Warzone as soon as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to our second channel as well. We do post extra content over there. It's usually short content and usually extra gameplay videos. And thank you very much for watching.